Dance, hustle, dance, hustle. It's a movie.
On the line, Lisa, I see you, and we also had Sincerely Ward. She pulled up on us today. So let's tap in with her and see where. Hold up. Let's see where she's at. What she got going on this good Saturday afternoon. Um, Hold on one second. Cut
Oh,
the track.
hello.
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 See your
Hey
photo.
guys, happy Saturday.
Happy
Happy
Saturday.
Saturday.
Hold on, I can start a video, right? Let me see what happens.
Yeah.
Hi. I just
Hey.
definitely know how to do this by now, right? This is the world we live in.
Right. Right. This is
Hey.
our new
Excuse me.
normal.
What's this?
How are y'all? I heard that someone's having a great Saturday. They got their stimmy.
Right.
Money bag Joe in the building. Coming through for the
Exactly.
sugar.
She got a couple coins, but sincerely, I just wanted to say appreciate you pulling up on us.
No
You
problem.
out of Atlanta, right?
Yeah. I live
Yes.
between Atlanta and New York. Because those are I'm a private jet broker these days, so those are the main hubs that I utilize and
Okay.
take care of clientele out of. So yeah, I got a place close to Teterboro and I got a place close to PDK.
I
You
heard
know what
that.
I'm saying?
Hey, that is a blessing as well, and I appreciate
Yeah.
you pulling up on us. You're an entrepreneur. You do a lot of things, as a lot of business ventures, as well as you perform. We see on TV and movies and whatnot. And so, just from the Good News Radio, this is Dance Hustle on Dance Hustle Radio, and just appreciate you pulling up on us today.
Yes.
And
No problem.
yeah, tapping in with us. So.
I'm happy to be here, brother. Happy to be here.
So tell us how you doing first and foremost on this Saturday? Like, how's your day going so far?
I'm good. I want to say I'm just now fully recuperated because this past week and weekend, like I was recovering. I literally was just feeling under the weather because I did a lot of traveling. I did some events at All Star, then I left All Star, I went to LA, did some Grammy stuff, then left there, met with my twin brother so I could give him the keys to his house because I forgot I had them. So I flew up to Atlanta just to meet him at the T gates to give him his keys to his house because out of respect, he gave them to me, and my twin brother, he gives a real attitude with me if things don't go like it's supposed to go. So I'm like, I don't even want to hear your mouth. I'm flying to Atlanta. Here go your keys. He's like, thanks, sis. I'm like, no problem.
Right.
And then 30 minutes later, got on a flight back to New York just so I could be home in time to walk my dog. So
Wow.
from that, I was lethargic. I was in the bed. I was scared because I was like, wait a minute, I got a headache. I'm tired. I don't feel like getting out the bed. And then it was a lot of mental stuff going on behind all these events. It was just to take a toll on me. And luckily I have some at-home COVID tests, so no COVID. I went ahead and I have the ones where you prick your finger or whatever. So those came out negative. So I just took it easy and rested. And I represent this company called highliving.com. I don't know how they found me, but I'm so grateful they did. But they started sending me like these THC gummies and like they have all kind of products with like hemp in it, THC or CBD. And I literally they have a body scrub. I just went, I used the body scrub. I made some tea. They had like some hemp tea. I just like, let me try all these products.
Right.
They have so many freaking products that it'll make us. They even have honey, like naturally sourced from the mountains of Carolina with CBD in it. I said, let me put some of this honey and the CBD
in the tea.
We're gonna get it together. But I ain't gonna lie, I really do feel like that has a lot to do with my recovery, if you will. So now I can sit here and run my mouth and talk to you guys, But yeah, so that's what's going on with me now. And I had to be back in effect because I had to see DJ Envy. We flew him and his beautiful family out to some very tropical island that is not New York. So I'm happy I got to do that and just get back to work and into the swing of things. But now I just got a call. I got to go back to Atlanta. Well, I hope I got to go back to Atlanta, fingers crossed, because I can't say it, but I'm going to give you a little exclusive tea because I literally just got off the phone. But there's a major artist that they want me to play a psychiatrist in their music video.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we
And
guess the artist?
yeah, you can get if you can guess. I'll tell you if you hot or cold.
Uh,
Drake.
I don't know. Beyonce.
Uh, you know what? You were very warm.
Hey, okay. Hey, you gotta know you shoot for the stars. Let's see. Jay-Z is Beyonce.
No.
I don't
That's kind of cold. No, she
know.
said Drake.
Drake.
I
I
said she's
said
very
Drake.
warm.
Oh, you said
I said
Drake?
you're very yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
I said
Drake.
she's
Okay.
very, very warm.
Drake. I don't know. Okay. Warren with Drake. Oh,
Very warm.
Lil
Like,
Baby. I don't know who is next.
you know what? You're fired.
I don't
You are not on my team when we playing taboo ever. Okay?
Right.
understand how you
I learned a little bit about you today. Okay. Why you
Yeah.
just didn't say Chloe and Halle? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to guess where you go from Drake.
who is similar to Drake in the same genre? If she's very, very warm.
Okay.
You know what? That's the guy.
Keela, you gotta help me. You're just laughing over here.
I got us to warm.
No, you got us to very warm.
Yeah,
Very warm. Come on
Oh,
now.
very
Dude.
warm. Sheesh. Yeah. Look, all right. Well, I'll just be sitting with everybody else in anticipation
Okay.
to see the video.
I like that.
Yeah, since I wasn't able to get the guesses and everything. But I want to see, you've been able to keep, it seems like, all-star and being able to travel, do all these different things. Have you had to do any pivots for your businesses or lifestyle during this COVID time, or
That's
how
a
have you done
great question. That's really a great question. And obviously during this period of time, I think a lot of people are discovering and learning a lot about themselves inadvertently that they wouldn't have. And I'm no stranger to that either. But one thing that I have realized looking back upon my career is I have been able to really hone in on reinvention and being able to reinvent myself and always like go to a next level. I started out, I went to college. I was a business marketing major, but from there, the whole video vixen thing blew up and I ended up being one of the OG video vixens. I hated that word at the time. We all did, but now it is what it is.
Right.
You gotta
from that,
own it, huh?
own it. Cause now it's something actually I'm proud of. Like this is during the days when, it's $1 million budgets. Okay. Ain't nobody throwing you no $300 and saying you're welcome. It's your favorite artist. It's like, no,
we'll tag you in the video.
Exactly. I literally paid my way through college, like doing music videos, and so then from there, it's like, okay, well, what's the next level? So the next step up for me, I moved to New York, saying, well, I'm going to try and, I don't want to be known as like a video girl forever. So I want to just see what's the next step. Moved to New York and ended up, first of all, I was embraced by the ballroom scene, which now I'm so happy people know about from the Pose, this television show Pose. I don't know if you heard of it, but that's literally how I used to pay my rent. I used to walk the balls for face category and win money and pay my little studio, cramped apartment in some basement I was written in Jersey City. And that's how I, it's one of those stories of like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So that's something I've definitely, as I travel the world, like have fallen back upon, like one time I got in an argument with a friend and I was literally in the middle of the fucking Sahara Desert. Well, really, I was in Bamako, Mali, which is right next to the Sahara Desert. I know nobody there like that, and I was like, fuck this. I figured it the fuck out. Next thing you know, I'm in Dakar, Senegal at this Africa's Got Talent show, which is their version of American Idol at the time. And who come out on stage? Motherfucking Sean Paul. Sean Paul is like my brother. They see me from the audience. They're like, sincerely? They come get me, bring me backstage. What the fuck are you doing in Dakar, Senegal? I'm like, what you doing in Dakar, Senegal? Right. I can't just be chilling in Dakar. They're like, bitch. So I just say that to say this. Definitely, I have my backbone and roots coming from figuring a way out in New York City. From then, I was able to move on to, I did magazines. I transitioned into actual modeling. So I think it's fair to say I'm one of the very few video girls that actually was able to transition into real modeling. Like I did Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week when it was in Bryant Park. I held pretty much all of the major urban ad campaigns, from your Rockaware jeans to your Nietzsche, Baby Fat. Like I had billboards, Azure. I don't know if y'all remember that one. I had billboards for all these companies. And I was able to, you know, kind of realize like, oh, okay, it doesn't have to stop here. You know, I went from there. So then at one point I had a billboard in Times Square and I was like, damn, I feel like I done kind of did all I can do here in New York. What's next? So then might as well move to LA, because at that point I had started dabbling in movies and film a little bit. Inadvertently, I wasn't seeking it out. They would just always like suggest me. And I ended up doing this movie in Florida that made me, I was just automatically SAG eligible or something. Like I just didn't even have to go through the process of what actors have to nowadays, which is collect vouchers and work on so many sets as an extra, and you get a voucher and it goes towards your status audit. I'm blessed. I didn't know how much at that time to bypass that. So then I was like, well, let me take it a step further and move to LA. Now LA, it was supposed to be a lot of fun because this is going to be the first time me and my twin brother were living together in our own place as adults. But then he went and met this girl from Australia and eloped on my ass. And I'm like, that's not the plan, bro. Like, so from then on, and then also like LA is like, you know, you go from, you know, big fish in a small pond to basically, I'm just another fish. I'm another pretty girl walking the streets of LA. And on top of that, these bitches get up, put their makeup on to go check the mail.
Yeah,
okay?
they sure do.
I'm like, no, you know, and then everybody's a barber, an agent, you know, a therapist, you know, a dental hygienist. Like, and they, you know, buy and sell cars from the auction. They just like, I'm like, it was just too superficial. It was too superficial of a world for me. And I think I got a little jaded, you know, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I don't want to do this entertainment thing like that. And that's when I ended up being afforded the opportunity to become a jet broker. A lot of people ask me about that. I don't know if you want to know. Do you want to know?
Of course.
Yeah. I want to join the PJ. I want to find out how I get to be a part of the PJ club.
Well, I can't lie. Like, it's a very random, unique kind of opportunity. Whereas one of my footballer friends from overseas was coming over here for holiday, as they call it. They vacation. And they're like, sincerely, we want to get a place in Miami. We need a villa. We want to get a yacht. We need a private plane because we want to fly to LA. Do you know anybody? I'm like, okay, villa, check. Yacht, no problem. Private plane, I think I do know a person. So I called the person that I thought I knew, and I didn't know her. And her name was Jessica West at University at the time. And she hooked it up, right? So then after that, I don't know why, like somebody else called me. I think it was like Neo's camp or something. And they're like, yeah, Neo needs a jet. Do you know somebody with a plan? I was like, actually, I do. And so after that, maybe like 3 other people, very randomly, like Pitbull, like very random, call me, and I was able to do it. And Jess called me and she was like, sincerely, would you like to come and work for us? Because you can make money with these. Did you know that? I was like, what? I didn't know. They asked me if I knew a person. I do. So from there, she took me under her wing and taught me all the rules to the game. And luckily, being a jet broker is something that is very flexible. As you can see, I can travel here, there, whatever, as long as I'm connected to the internet, like good, or my cell phone even. I can make things happen. And it's definitely a business based highly in relationships. You want to have really good relationships with like your fellow jet operators and stuff. And that's how, I ain't gonna lie, some of the perks of it are, you know, I get to take planes that are already going somewhere, as long as I figure out my way back from wherever I'm going. And they'll call me at like 9 in the morning. Sincerely, what are you doing today at 6? I said, sounds like whatever you're doing today at 6. They're like, well, you want to go to Hawaii? We got a Gulfstream going. And I said, okay, I'll see you at 5:30. And end up calling my homegirls and being like, what are you doing today at 6? They're like, sounds like whatever you're doing today at 6. I said, meet me at the Clearport, bitch. We get on the plane. The plane is like one of the definitely biggest planes. Beautiful. The one with like a bed in it, all that stuff. And during these trips though, like the pilots, sometimes this is when they catch their Z's. They're very casual. They're dressed down, and they're cool. But we were turning up because we had a little flight attendant. He was this over the top fairy gay boy. He was so much fun. And so needless to say, we got very, very tipsy. No, drunk, just drunk. We got drunk. And, you know, it took us like 30 minutes to get off the plane. We got off the plane, they laying us and everything because we went to Hawaii. I don't know if I said. And then my boss calls me and was like, yeah, I heard you took like 30 minutes to already get off the plane. I was like, oh yeah, I know, I'm sorry about that. They were like, yeah, no big deal. It was the Jonas Brothers were waiting on their plane, but it's okay. I'm like, oh shit.
So basically how it works is like the pilots are just like constantly just flying within like the day or the week, and they have these set times that they have to be to pick up and drop off.
Well, what happens specifically with like pilots and crew, they can only fly a certain amount of hours. Because do you want a tired ass pilot flying in your plane? No, you do not. You want that nigga to have 9 good hours of sleep, right? Okay, so you got to make sure not to overbook their schedules or whatever. And you know, in case in point, you may have to like, you know, let that pilot stay and then get another pilot, however long that takes for him to arrive. But essentially, and this is my specialty kind of in private aviation, is called empty legs. So what I flew was called an empty leg, and that's a plane that's already going there. They were already going there to pick up the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers didn't pay for the plane. So now the ride that I took for free, just because I have a great relationship with that jet operator and they cool with me, and nobody was going to book it within 2 hours. It's like, you might as well take the flight if you want, you know? But if somebody would have wanted to book it, that would allow me to charge them, you know, half price or whatever, you know, or just pay for some jet fuel kind of thing, because jet fuel is expensive. But if it was going there anyway, it was going there anyway, right? So for me, it allows me to kind of, the only thing about it is they'll be last minute. The earliest maybe I'll get wind of empty, maybe like 2.5 weeks, okay? Grace period. Maybe a month if I'm lucky, right? But usually the good deals and stuff are coming like the day of,
like you just gotta be ready
prior to. Yeah, so I put up flyers on my Instagram. Follow me if you're into that sort of thing. It's Sincerely W. Really, you can find me anywhere under Sincerely W. I'm not that creative apparently socially when it comes to social media and stuff. Just look my name up and I'm right there. But I post flyers of different empty legs going from different places that I think people may have interest in. So like All Star came up and I posted, you know,
So people was definitely trying to get to All Star.
Yeah. So you know what I did? I devised a way to still take a plane and see if I could individually sell seats on the plane, kind of like a rideshare Uber for planes or something.
That's dope.
So I had a little success with it, but honestly, I think I dragged my feet on it a little too long because I was just getting back from the Bahamas or something. I wasn't really focusing on it, but I'm glad I came up with that idea, because now for not necessarily even major sporting events or whatever, but kind of any peak time, like spring break, like I'll start compiling some things. If you're willing to travel with people that you don't know just for the experience, or say, you know, my thing is I want it to be a vibe.
Well, we do it every time we get on Coach anyway.
Yeah. And especially like if you're somebody that pays for first class every time or whatever, and say you're going to your friend's bachelor party and y'all celebrating in the Bahamas, you might as well pay, you know, $1 to $2K per seat, have a whole experience, leaving out of Miami on a PJ, turn up, surprise your boy. You know, yeah, I'm trying to make
that experience.
Look, Akila,
I'm trying to make it more attainable, because it's such an unattainable thing, which is actually the point, but still you can do it.
You're right. I did get my stimulus.
Yeah,
so
I'm
I can
about to
afford
say.
it.
You just got your, look, let me,
over,
if I get my, if
Put
I
the
get my
money in my
stimulus,
hands.
if I get my stimulus, we could put that together. That's 2 seats.
Right. I got to link up with other people who are willing to give their stimulus for this ride.
You got 3. I'll put my stimmy up too. You know.
Hey, so tell me this: how much for just taking a picture in front of the PJ? That's all I need anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me. Right.
You're being funny. You're being funny, but actually, that's a really great question. I get asked that a lot. Of course, we do like photo shoots and stuff like that. But here's the thing about it. Plane owners are usually like really funny about, you know, their aircraft. Like you don't want to ever necessarily put their tail number in there, because that's like your license plate kind of thing, you know. And also it's their plane, so it's not like they bought the plane for people to take pictures with it or in it or whatever. Now it is kind of like real estate in the sky. So if it's Airbnb, of course you're taking pictures in the Airbnb, who cares, whatever, but still they're making their money off of it. Right. So I saw this need too, especially after, actually, I ain't gonna lie, I got the idea from watching the Fire Film Festival fiasco. Oh. Say that 3 times fast.
Right.
The Fire Film Festival fiasco. But dang, that was a good one. But there is a influencer company based in like Moscow or Russia or something, and literally that's all they do. They have a private plane and you can come on and just take pictures and look like you're traveling and flying on the plane. So I'm like, why don't we do that shit? So I'm literally actively working on a program for that based out of PDK and out of Teterboro, where I can do something like that and implement it. Now for like a photo shoot or something like that, the thing is, prices vary because jet owners are different. Every plane is owned by different people, or like a fleet. So one may be like, oh, you're cool, so I'll let give me $300 an hour. One would be like $20,000. I don't care how little or few or a lot of crew you got. If you use my plane and it's grounded, and if you want to turn the lights on, now that's a whole nother 10 stacks. Like, they can do what they want. It's their shit, It's like,
hey, let me say this. We want to get into, it's so much that's happening this week. But I do want to get into some hot topics. I want to dive into some of these hot topics that I've been seeing in the news and all these different stories. And also, I got a real tight homegirl of mine, Lisa, and she actually is from Britain. I actually been seeing so much of this interview.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this Oprah interview. And my homegirl Lisa, she's actually on the line, and I wanted to talk about what is going on with all this stuff where I've been seeing in the news when it comes to Meghan. What's her name?
Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Markle.
Boy. She wanna she better learn her name.
Did you really say what is her name?
What's her name again? That's just
Hi, Lisa. Can you help your friend, please?
Hi.
Look,
I'll do my best.
Lisa, thank you so much for pulling up, and joining this convo, because we're gonna dive into a few of these hot topics, and honestly, let's just take it from Meghan Markle. She came out and she definitely spilled all the tea. And to me, I personally don't know, like, why are we so invested into the
magnitude of the tea that was spilled?
Yeah, like why is it such a big deal? Like, could you break it down? Because you have a, you part of you've been a part of this for a minute.
Sure. So first, I'd like to say thank you for having me on. And like you mentioned, I am a British national. I lived there until I was 9. I no longer have an accent, but I still have a passport. I still have family. I'm still very much connected with my British roots. And, a lot of people are saying that she spilled a lot of tea. And so we got a lot of information, but to be honest with you, they didn't really spill all the tea, right? Like, they didn't come out and start naming names and dropping dimes.
What color your baby gonna be? That's what I want to know.
Right.
That's tea.
Right? They did not, like, a lot of people feel like they came, they splashed out, and they're just attacking the royal family. And to be honest with you, I don't really believe that they did that. I believe that they came out and finally spoke about their side of things that went on, but did so in regards to, we're still very much a part of this family. Like, no matter how trash they are, they're still my family. And so, they didn't. So they spoke out about a lot of things, and it's a lot of fallout from it, because I just feel like people are not ready for the truth. Right? They're not ready to, people thought that because she got married into this family, that we were on a different path and we were moving forward. And, there's so many opportunities. And while they passed up on an opportunity to do better and be better, let's just face it, like, nothing really changed. Nothing.
They're original colonizers.
Right. Nothing changed. I also want to remind people, look how they treated Diana who is not Black at all. So could you imagine how
but not blue blood,
right
right?
In a way, because she's Diana was aristocratic, but she,
because her aunt, was it her uncle or her auntie? I'm sorry, give me the rundown. Her uncle or aunt was a duke or something, or
so her father was an earl.
Oh, it was an earl.
Her grandmother was a lady in waiting to the queen mother.
I don't know. I don't know what those mean, to be honest.
They're just titles. You know, like they were born into privilege and they served the royal family.
Like being born a Rothschild or a Kardashian in our today's terms. You just born into money. Stormy ain't never got to work a day in her life if she don't want to, like that.
They're born into money, but also just into clout, right? So
more like the Rothschilds or something would be a better example.
A better example, because the Kardashians could lose all their money tomorrow and that'll be it for them.
True.
The aristocratic people in England, in Europe, have lost all their money and still have a ton of clout just simply by their name, right? Being associated. And so, you know, they treated Diana horribly. I think it's also, one moment, I told you I was doing this interview. This is not for you. Go on back outside.
It's my favorite part.
Right? Your father
because
is
you
right
still
out,
gotta be a parent
right?
at the same time.
Like
I'm like muting so y'all don't hear my daughter outside the door.
Like
I wish
literally,
they would be on
her
cartoons,
father
like
is in
every
the same
Saturday.
room.
We was waiting for them cartoons to come on. If you don't want to sit yourself down in front of ABC, okay,
somewhere. Or how about you ask your father, who is right out there with you? I told y'all.
That ain't the best part. She trying to get her interview. She want to be a part of the interview. You know,
that's what it is.
You trying to keep her from getting her shine on. She trying to get her shine.
Oh, and she would have came and took over this entire interview and not talked about any, taking it off topic and taking it over. But yeah, going back to the topic that we are on, the reason why this was so dramatic for everybody, or not for everybody, because I feel like a lot of us, especially as Black people, already knew what it was, right? Even if you were optimistic in terms of, well, maybe they are taking a step forward. Like none of us were surprised that somebody asked that, you know, how dark is Archie gonna be? None of us were surprised when they told her
Oprah was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
that was for dramatic effect.
Right. That's Oprah acting. You know, she did. You know, she was in The Color Purple. So
that was her Oscar moment or something.
Right. None of us were surprised that she was told that she was possibly going to have to keep working because they wouldn't be able to afford to pay her. And I mean, I know we've all seen the memes, like England, you all have literally raped and pillaged countries. What are you talking about? Your empire was known as the empire where the sun never set. The royal jewels come from countries all over the place. What do you mean that you wouldn't be able to pay her as a senior royal? Right? None of us were really surprised about that. But I think where everybody else in the rest of society, especially here in America, and even in England, it's about protecting the facade, right? And they came out and they were just like, this isn't what it was, right? Like, no, I didn't make Kate cry. Kate made me cry, right? No, I didn't not want my child to have a royal title, right? That was decided.
That was an interesting part where I felt like that was that to me that stood out as much as everything else stood out. I just felt like the grandson is like, okay, you're not protecting him, you're not giving him a title, you're not claiming him. And I mean, this woman, truthfully, Megan, you could, I mean, for most from the blind eye, you might think she's a white woman, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Right.
like when you see her mom, okay, it's clear that she's, biracial, but I just felt like, wow, this is these are kind of pretty extreme measures to basically disown.
Which, by the way, let me interject. If you go and you're walking along the streets of London, what do you think you're seeing? It's Africans, it's white people, and it's a whole lot of mixed people, because like that's they're and correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, but from my experience, when I go over there, they automatically look at me and say, you're not from here. Like, not just the way I talk before I even talk, just the way I look, because I look like, in my opinion, an African American. You can't say I'm specifically from an African country, and you can't say I'm straight up biracial. It's confusing to them. They're like, what are you? Because that's all they're used to. So that is your country. That's what your country is composed of. And that was their opportunity to show moving forward and the true face even of what all their commonwealths look like. It's ridiculous.
So, while you say that when you're in England, they automatically notice right away that you are not a biracial woman from the UK or of African descent from the UK. Me being from the UK and coming to America, I constantly get people asking me like, well, where are you from? And I'm from California. Depending on who I'm talking to, I'm not trying to get into it with everybody. I'm from California. No. You're not Black from America. Like, where are you people from? Like, where are you from? Right? It was a perfect opportunity for them to move forward. And they had a move forward in a positive direction. And it was a very perfect opportunity for them to not make the same mistakes that they did with Diana. And they blew it. They failed miserably. Right? But then turned around and tried to make it seem like it was this Black woman from America.
That uprooted the whole shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she came in here and was, a disruptor from the very beginning. And that's not what happened at all.
I just can't believe they cut Harry off. That's like that's Diana's son, that's Charles' son. You cut him off? I would be like, maybe she's been divorced. But you cut him off from security and getting the check.
They treated him like a redheaded stepchild or something.
Well, I guess he is now.
I just want to point out though that is their way. That is what they do, right? If you go back and you look at history, and even just recent history, so the royal family that is sitting on the throne right now was not originally supposed to be the branch of family that was sitting.
You about to have me watching The Crown, girl. Continue.
That the Queen's uncle was the one that was supposed to be king, and he wanted to marry an American divorcee.
Oh, that is right, and he did.
And they said they were like, no, absolutely not. And so he abdicated. And when he abdicated, like they gave him gave him a cut of money and whatnot, but he was cut off, like moved to
and him and his wife
country.
Stayed together though forever, right? That was really the love of his life.
Yeah, that was the love of his life.
Really,
and so
you didn't watch The Crown, more, you all in the mix.
Well, no, before The Crown came out, this was just things that I was interested. I was able to meet Diana when I was a very little girl. We were living in England at the time. She visited my school. I was able to, like, when people say that she was the people's princess and that she was kind, like, I was completely devastated when she died.
Yeah.
Right. So my interest in her led me to, and I'm a huge history buff. So my interest in her led me to do my own way before The Crown ever came out. Right. And so I think the lesson that I would take away from all of this is, when you stand in the way of letting people marry who they want to marry, or who they want to be with, it causes a lot of problems. So you didn't want to let him be, you didn't want to let Edward VII marry his American divorcee, and he abdicated. When the Queen's father became king and then died, and the Queen took over, they didn't want to let Margaret, her sister, marry the guy she wanted to marry, because he was also divorced and he worked for the family. So we can't have him marrying the help. And if you look at Margaret's history, you see the devastation that caused. You didn't allow Charles to marry Camilla, right? He had the opportunity to do so, and you see how well that played out.
She was a divorcee. Damn.
Well, she wasn't even married when they were both single. She was dating somebody else, but they were both single. but they didn't feel like she was the right sort of person. She
Oh.
wasn't aristocratic enough. They didn't feel like she was the right sort. So they didn't allow him to marry her. And we see how well that played out. And now,
but then look at it now. Technically, she got the last laugh because here she is sitting pretty still, the girlfriend of Charles.
She's the wife.
The wife.
She could possibly be queen consort if and whenever he becomes king. I don't know, because the queen mother didn't die until she was well over 100 years old. So I don't know. Charles might die.
This one, she got some staying power,
right?
Too,
you know, like, Charles might die before that chance. It may go straight from the queen to William. So you never know, right? But the thing is that when you know better, you should do better.
Well, to that, I want to ask you, and maybe this is switching gears a little too soon, too much, but what's up with Piers Morgan and the whole Cheryl Underwood thing on the talk?
Okay, so let's get into Piers. Okay, because I feel like
I'm hijacking your show, sir.
Hey,
you're fine.
You're tracking. It's all good.
No, but I really want to know.
Well, Pierce's issue is, he's making it be like, oh, you're attacking like the institution, a deeply personal British institution. But what it comes down to is Piers had a date with Meghan. He thought it went well. Clearly, she didn't think it went well because she never contacted him again.
They had a real date?
They had a real date. There is a video of him talking about the date that they had, where they had they met for drinks. Everything went well. He thought it went well. He put her in a cab, and she went to the party where she supposedly met Harry.
Oh,
and then she never called him again. And that is what the real issue comes, because I just don't understand how you have this much hate and vitriol for somebody that you don't really know. And it comes down to the fact that this little black girl went on a date with me and cut me off, and then had the audacity to turn around and marry into a family that he could never in a million years, even if he wanted to. And that's what it comes down to. It also comes down to being a white privileged man that can no longer control the narrative of how that story is going. His colleagues finally got tired of his nonsense.
Really?
Dr. Shola put him in place days before. His colleague basically said, listen, we've sat here for 5 years and listened to you just spout off hate about her, and we've all had to sit back and listen, right? But basically what it comes down to is that this woman cut you off, which she's well within her rights to do so. And since she's cut you off, she's never mentioned you again. And I think that's what and then he got up and he stormed off. Well, bye.
What? Oh, it struck a nerve.
Yeah, goodbye. Be mad and be unemployed. I have, no more time.
She wounded his ego. You know what I'm saying? And that was definitely his ego. He wanted to be a part of this echelon, like you said, and he never got a chance. Something of the narrative of this whole story, it reminds me almost like a plot point of another movie that some of my other hot topics, which is Coming to America. And it's very similar as far as royalty. But yeah, shout out to Coming to America too. Seems like, everybody and their mama was in the movie.
They were.
Yeah.
and we're here for it. Okay?
Yeah, I'm here for all of it.
A couple more motherfuckers sprinkled in there. Okay.
I just want to say, being in Atlanta, I see, something I will give due to, because it gave me a different. I see it both ways, but it definitely gave me a perspective of like, wow, okay, everybody was in this movie. It was a great chance for our talents to be highlighted. And also, I just wanted to see what's the experience, because I know that was that a lot of people in Atlanta was a part of in production and in front of the camera, behind the camera. Were you are friends of yours? Were you able to experience that? And I know we didn't get the big premiere with the giraffes and the elephants and all that stuff that we would have had, and all these different premieres and parties and all that stuff. But how was that for you seeing Coming to America too?
Who you asking?
Sorry, sincerely. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, for me, well, I ain't gonna lie. I was jumping up and down out of my seat every 10 seconds because my homegirl is in that movie. And when she told me she's in the movie, I was like, oh, that's cool. But she's in the movie. The bitch is the princess. She becomes the I was like, no, is that who you is? So I was elated and I had continuous goosebump moments. I think they did a great job with tying things in and making things make sense the best of their ability, but also keeping true to the fact of, you know, really in jest. Obviously, we can't take it too seriously. And I'm glad that you segue into Coming to America, because the aristocratic kind of formalities and stuff that, you know, you have to deal with from being from a kind of establishment like that or family like that, you know, there's really kind of, they're making fun of even more so the English kind of way of doing things, because tribally, you know, different tribes in Africa have their different ways of doing things, their different markings on their face, the way, you know, we would cornrow our hair, you know, like, I mean, but it was always just something with like a great sense of pride. It was never like if in Black culture, it was never like it has to look this way, so it has to be this way kind of thing. It's like no, like you're revered because you really are that way. Like, I feel like rulers are transparent with their people. Not in modern day Africa, it's corrupt as hell because it's got a lot of money and whatever. But at the root of that,
learned from their colonizers.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's where it comes from. That's where it came from. So when you go back to, don't nobody want to talk about Mansa Musa? Don't nobody want to talk about, you know, what's his name, who was trying to unite the whole, what's his name, begins with a G. Gaddafi, who wanted to unite the whole continent of Africa's currency into one, because technically Africa got more money than all these countries, other countries combined. Okay, and he wanted to unite the currency into one currency, and they assassinated his ass for that. Okay, like he and his country went to shit in a handbasket after that, and it was one of the wealthiest countries in Africa in modern day history. This is just a few years ago. Okay. But I digress. I loved seeing the experience. I loved seeing Eddie Murphy back in his element, doing new characters. You know, it just gave us something to sit away on our couch during a pandemic and take our mind off of craziness. I love how they updated stuff and made it current, you know, with references to Uber and just all kind of things.
Right.
And I loved how they didn't make it too cheesy, but it was just enough cheese. It's like, that's what we expect from the first thing.
Right.
I love Leslie Jones. This is one of my favorite roles I've ever seen her in. You know,
she was great. I love her.
I really loved her, and I loved. Of course, we all want to see Wesley Snipes. He had me cracking up. He was
every time he walked in the scene, I was like, "Oh my back!" Like
I thought I would see more of a Timmy, but I guess there was really no need for him. And Tiana Taylor killed that shit.
Oh yeah, she did her thing. Shout out to Tim.
I mean, but I even like how they utilize people like. They didn't give her too many speaking lines because her African accent wasn't there, but that work on that floor, baby, the costumes.
The
costumes. I love how I feel like they incorporated other cultures, Malaysian culture, like Asian cultures, but still is proudly, profoundly Black, you know? And I will watch that thing over like 15 more times. Yeah. And I'm very happy for Nomzamo. She is one of my friends. She's a superstar in South Africa. She's literally like the equivalent of like Gabrielle Union in South Africa. So, but like we hang out, you know, like, and like we'll always hang out at events like the Polo, what is this Veuve Clicquot Polo Classic in Cape Town, and you know, this is where you see her at these high profile events, but still it's very hard. Now the next move for all South African actresses, they want to transition to American pieces and acting in American things, because this is where the money is for real, you know. So I'm very happy to see her begin to be a bridge in something like that, and applaud my fellow women, and I just think they did an amazing job, and I'm happy Atlanta is now known as Wakanda, aka Zamunda. Like I live in Zamunda, aka Wakanda. East side, west side.
Right?
You know?
Which one is it? Which one, okay, the east side. There's both. It's both. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Decatur, where you greater, Wakanda.
I still greet my family as loyal citizens of Zamunda.
Wow.
That's such an iconic. It was such an iconic movie. It's, a classic for us. And I went in not expecting too much because it could never, repeat
Be what it was,
the
right?
original.
Right. Facts.
But I was happy to see all of the, Black actors being able to have, working. The costumes were beautiful. It had its, it definitely had its funny moments, and I appreciated it for what it was. So,
Yeah, it was like being at a reunion, for
mhm,
me,
mhm.
like just seeing everyone, seeing how they've aged gracefully, like seeing how the majority of the cast is still living
Yup.
and
Yes.
working and doing all that stuff. Like it was just really exciting. And I was really kind of turned off a little bit by just the critics, on social media. And I don't even
Mhm.
mean real critics. I just mean, our people,
Right.
just kind of like dogging the movie. And just at the end of the day, like it made me happy. It brought me joy to
Right.
sit down and watch the film with my parents, with my daughter who's 2 years old. Like she doesn't know anything about Coming to America, and a lot
Right.
of young, like teenage, they don't know about Coming to America. They know what their parents talked about or their
Right.
grandparents or whatever, but they get to appreciate it now and be able to see something that makes their parents excited or their
Right.
grandparents excited, that brought everybody together so many years ago. Because when it first came out, I was, my daughter's age. So now being able to watch it and really, really appreciate all those different elements and seeing everybody now, I
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
I was super excited. Like even
Right.
to see those sprinkles of
Yeah.
other
The
Black
rose petal.
actors. And like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
mentioned Rotimi, I saw him in the
Yeah.
background just
Yeah.
cracking up at him, just like shaking his
Yeah.
little dreads around.
Yeah.
And like it just all brought me joy. So
Right.
What did you think about the actor that they chose to be his son?
I liked him. I
Yeah.
didn't
It
think
was okay.
I appreciated his character, because again, similar to what you were saying, like he wasn't like overly too cheesy, but then at the same time, like I didn't know he was gonna break out rapping and doing
Mm,
all of that. Like I appreciate, like, okay, look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right. And
yeah,
then all the little drops of very small elements from the original movie that
Yeah.
they added in. I was telling my sister, I was like, "Oh, did you see the part of the two men on the wall when he was going to the job interview? Those were
Yeah.
the homeless people that he gave the money to on the side." And she was like, "Oh, I missed it.
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
didn't
have to
peep
go back
that.
and watch
Oh, I
You
have
it."
to go
got
back
me.
and watch. Yeah, I
I
didn't.
And
got okay. I
so,
got one for you. Then I got one for you. In the barber shop, when he's talking to the dudes in the barber shop behind the Jewish guy, there's a Soul Glow box, a box of Soul Glow on the
oh
counter.
yeah,
Oh, I could
oh, see, I didn't see that. See,
see.
again,
I
I
gotta
have
go
to
back.
go back. I said
Yeah.
they should
Crack
have
me up.
Cuba in the seat again as a grown man, but I guess maybe they didn't want to add that back into the
Well, I
script.
think he's got a
mm,
lot of legal
yeah. Other
issues going on. I don't think he's
Oh,
available at the moment.
look,
really?
with Cuba, yes.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in on a segue. That's a perfect segue because look, I
Mm.
appreciate y'all comments, and I said everybody, to see so many people on my timeline posting about the movie was very inspiring. I never seen an actual feature film, or a big production release that people have. That so many people like dancers, people that are costume behind the scenes people, and they're like, man, that's a lot of Black people that was a part of that production. So kudos to them. I was gonna say with Cuba and what he's dealing with is
What's he dealing with? Because we don't know.
just like a bunch of little basically sexual assault cases and things like that. And I don't
A
know much
bunch?
more than that. Yeah, he's
Yeah, it's
dealing
like
with a bunch of
5 or 6
yeah.
women.
But
Oh, he's
that's what I
up
was gonna
there
say.
with Como.
So,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's definitely on that status. But we got
Cancel
Have
culture.
y'all ever hung
the
out with
last
Cuba? He do
yeah,
get a
so
little crazy when he drink though. He's a
Yeah.
wild boy.
And
yeah,
that's where all of the women, like all of the ones stories I've heard is about him just, getting
doing
a
too
little
much.
doing too much while he's been drinking. A
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
too handsy while he's been
He's
drinking.
handsy. He will take that shirt off
And so
and be sweating profusely.
so
I'm like, this
that
is not sexy.
the cancel culture recently we've canceled, or the cancel culture has caught up with Pepe Le Pew, and that's, what I'm saying, I wanted to just say Pepe Le Pew, he's out of the Dance Jam sequel. You know, he's pretty much canceled. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was watching a video and recently just online and just seeing people's take on it. And some people are like, "Yo, this is a peaceful moment," but you know, Pepe Le Pew is very aggressive. You know, he's French, I think, and so he's this, you know, this French skunk, and essentially he's, you know, people don't see him, know him, or
he's
know
a skunk going after a cat.
Yeah, but the thing is, they cancel him because he's basically sexually aggressive towards like falling in love with these animals. But the kind of undertone of the joke is that this black or white cat will end up being painted as a female and then looking like a female skunk. And so that was the joke of the disconnect of like, this isn't a him chasing after a skunk and the skunk is rejecting him. The joke is that this cat looks like a skunk, you know what I'm saying? And she's a skunk, and that's why you're trying to. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just
Jesus.
Like, so first, I just want to say first, cancel culture is not new. It's not something that we as the Black community or on the left or whatever you want to call it have come up with. And second, as I said earlier, when you know better, you do better. I don't know if Pepe Le Pew should have been taken out of Space Jam because I don't really remember him chasing the cat / skunk or whatever in Space Jam. I think there might have been a better way to.
No, he had his own thing before Space Jam.
Yeah.
I grew up watching him. I know exactly.
Yeah, no. I grew up watching him too. I'm just saying that maybe there could have been a better way to address that and then not necessarily just take him completely
put him
out.
in his place on the and just say, "Hey, man."
Like you got.
They took him out of Space Jam too.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, he out.
He's gone.
He's canceled.
So they talk about him like he's a real person. Like there were people who created this kid. Can we talk to the people?
I don't understand how can Donald Trump say grab them by the pussy. Yeah. You know, and he still become our president, but you canceling Pepe Le Pew? That's so sad.
Because they cancel what they want to cancel.
Yes, when they want to, because and the same people that are complaining about cancel culture sure didn't have a problem with canceling Colin Kaepernick, right? Like y'all sure didn't have a problem with blackballing that man from being able to get a job. You bought up his jerseys and his shoes and whatnot and burnt them, and you have a problem with whoever supports him. So again, cancel culture is not new, and it also did not originate, you know, within our community. They cancel and jump on the bandwagon with who and what they want to.
Generation Z cancel. Just gave it a name and they think they invented that shit. But this is what I want to say. First of all, those old school cartoons, I think it's important not to cancel him and like try and erase him from memory like that didn't exist. Those old school cartoons have such crazy racial, homophobic, pedophilic undertones that it's ridiculous. Okay, we all know the story, the early from Mickey Mouse to fucking Tom and Jerry, like, and that's what even today, like, think about today's movies and stuff that we go and see that are made Pixar films and shit. Really, they make that shit for adults too, because we got to sit there and watch it with our kids as well. So they make those underlying jokes and those nuances and those, you know, references and innuendos. They put those in there to entertain us. So this is really just it's historical depiction of how people think and how their brains were working during the 1950s, during the 1970s, now moving on to the 1990s. And I think it's important not to be like, oh no, that was just so disgraceful. Let's cancel him, or Pepe Le Pew, it didn't exist anymore. It never existed. No, as opposed to that, maybe somebody like a Donald Trump grew up watching Pepe Le Pew and thinks that it's okay because it's ingrained in his psyche as a kid, because as he's watching, just go ahead and chase the fucking, grab the cat by the tail. Grab the cat. Just grab the cat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
that's a good
somebody
idea.
Somebody showed me, we all watched Popeye, right? And Brutus and Olive Oil. Well, you know, Brutus was very much into olive oil. And when he asked her out and she said no, he choked the mess out of her.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Like choke.
Oh, ring that little skinny neck.
Right. And you know,
and then Popeye had to come through and beat his ass, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so like what I was trying to explain to somebody, because somebody was like, well, that didn't affect me that way. And I was like, yeah, but you might be okay and realize that that's not okay. That's not an okay way to deal with rejection. I said, there's a bunch of there are a lot of weirdos out there that feel like that is the appropriate response. Here, case in point, as women, when we're out and we have a man that is, you know, cat calling or let me get your number, like we have to really think about and be careful like how we're going to respond, right? Be
Reject
nice about
them
it.
nicely so that we don't get caught out our name or shot.
Anyway, bitch.
Right.
You know,
give a fake number.
I said I got a boyfriend. Damn.
I got a Google number just so that, I mean, and I've been married for a long time.
Smart.
But I literally will still, even I will say, you know, oh, you know, appreciate it. You made my day, but I'm married. Oh, what that got to do with me? Nothing.
Yeah,
that has a lot to do.
Even here in New York, a dude like offered to buy this woman in the grocery store, liquor store, buy her wine. She was just getting off of work. She just went in to buy her a bottle of wine, and she was like, "Oh no, thank you, I'm good." And he was with two dudes. Ended up following her outside, attacking her, biting her, bit her face off, dog.
Yep.
And was kicked her down, beat her ass, and was like, "You think you all that? You think you better than me?" Like, and she was so polite. It's on tape how nice she was about it. No, thank you. I can get along. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. And even when we do all of that, we're still attacked. And so it just goes back to that for some people, they're not able, or they didn't have people in their lives to differentiate, like, okay, they're joking and, you know, it's ha ha ha, but you can't do that in real life. Right.
And so, you can't have everything that you want. And this is how rejection works.
Right.
Well, look, I want to close with this. I know this is my last segment, so I just we gotta explain it, but you know, we want to see what's something that's hecka bootsy and that's hecka tight that y'all done experienced so far this week or this month. And this hecka is our Oakland slang. So hecka is basically something that I would say you kind of explain it like, oh man, this is like times 10.
Like very, very, like hella.
Hella.
Super duper.
So if you can, both of y'all like to, you know, what really everyone, I want everybody to just kind of think about it. Like, what's something that you experienced that's like, man, this is hecka tight. Everybody should know about it or experience it too. You know what I'm saying? Or what's going, you know, give us a.
I got one that immediately comes to my mind. This past, what's today? This past weekend when I was 12, out. 13? The 12, 13, no, the day. It's Saturday. Okay. So yes, this past Tuesday, while they were finishing up filming the Grammys and stuff, I was blessed enough to be one of 10 people total in a private room invited to surprise Cardi B with her diamond plaque for Bodak Yellow going diamond. And she's the first rap artist ever go diamond. And she's a woman, and it's International Women's Month. And it was just so cool to be able to sit there and sip my espresso martini and listening to her personality and watching her interact with her, you know, and everybody going around and giving her flowers and her accolades and her just being herself. She was in her sweatshirt because we surprised her. It was a complete surprise. And then Offset just walked around his, you know, Offset's just a weirdo in a ski mask. I guess that's the cool thing. I don't know. But it was really cool because it was literally like rob
y'all or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, who is this goon? Is it security? I know that's her weirdo disgusting. But that was and you can go on my Instagram. I uploaded a video from it, my personal phone or whatever, and I have a plethora of pictures. None with me in it because I'm already one of the only person in there that doesn't work with her or is from the label. So they had to introduce me, you know, and so I wasn't pushing it, but it was definitely amazing to experience that moment. So that was hecka tight for me this week.
Okay. Hey,
is that a good one?
Yeah, no,
that's a great one.
I wish I was there. You know, I would have got I would have got me a selfie or something.
I know, right?
Right, with your prayer hands.
Right.
But you know, sometimes the selfies is the way to go. Sometimes I wish I always had a camera.
Yes.
You know, it's hard. You know,
I wish I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, oh, let me capture the moment, but I should have been like,
yeah. It's lit.
yeah.
At least what's hecka tighter?
You know, hecka tight for me. You know, these days I don't leave the house too much, so don't really get to have, you know, too many really great experiences like that. But in a personal matter, we finally got some word that some funds are finally being coming through. My husband's been out of work for a year, and almost a year after he, you know, applied for his unemployment, they finally got it together, and they are, you know, so we're gonna be able to catch up on some things, give ourselves some breathing room.
Coming.
Yeah,
right.
the stimmy,
And y'all got
stimmy coming.
Hopefully,
no, stimmy has not hit yet. So I'm hoping like stimmy, taxes, paycheck,
right, all in one, like boom.
Hey, sincerely, we about to be on that private jet soon.
We get more passengers, right? As by the day.
We going to Red Lobster asking for the whale. We want the whale.
Hey, we almost there. I'm just waiting for my little unemployment too. No,
we go file.
We almost
right.
Like, yeah, we work it out. You got a layaway plan or something, you know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I do.
Payment plan.
We're gonna work it out.
Afterpay, you know.
Installments. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, all right. Hey, Akila, what's heckin' tight?
I already told y'all about me getting my stimulus, which I'm happy about. But even more so than that, like I'm super excited. I like really just started kind of announcing within this last week and just via email and stuff like that about a children's book that I published with my daughter. So I'm trying to get her authoring as a published author. She's 2. And so our book launches on June 1st. It's called Potty Training Day because we're literally going through the potty training process right now.
It's amazing.
And so I'm just super excited about that, just because I don't always like to promote myself, but now that my daughter's involved with it, like I get to like push her, and so I'm just super duper excited about that. So
I'm gonna just throw this out there. One of my good friends is Matthew Cherry, who I don't know if you know, but
yes.
I knew Matthew when he was when he got fired from the football team and was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. Like that's how far we go back.
That's part of Hair is part of the inspiration for like really just me wanting to do children's book, and then I love just like the story and just the illustrations and just all of that. Like that was definitely like,
that's great.
That's exciting. Is it out now? You just finalized everything.
June 1st, it launches. So right now I'm just kind of like getting the word out, telling people they can pre-order and just all the stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is there pre-order information? So
there's pre-order. You can pre-order on Amazon. It's Potty Training Day.
So I think that'll be my book gift to all my millions of friends who had babies this past year.
So many
happy babies.
Right. Oh, I know. It's like
good baby shower gift.
That's a good gift, actually. For real.
That's a really good gift to give. So I will be on the lookout for the pre-order information, and I will be getting some, and that'll be my baby shower gift.
Me too.
Yes, thank you. I will send it to you both. I'm gonna follow you all on Instagram.
Y'all follow and all that.
Yes.
With that being said, how do we connect with you guys? How do we support you? What you got coming up? What can people look out for, et cetera, et cetera? Lisa, we're gonna start with you.
Okay.
What you got going on? We can support you in.
So coming up next month, I start a little business. It's called with Usborne Books. It's children's books. I went to a book party, really loved the books, really loved that it could be like a consultancy business. So I start next month. And so if any of you would ever like to book a children's party, or, you know, you have friends that you would like to buy books, they have a diverse amount of books. I just got all my kids. I got my 2 daughters, the children's dictionary, the encyclopedia,
I love
the
books.
science encyclopedia.
Wow, I thought those were non-existent
Exactly.
these days.
And so I got all of that because I can't wait to be like, go look it up.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Look it up.
You're a good mom.
Right. And so I was just really inspired. I love to read. And so, I just want to promote literacy in our community, and not just promote literacy, but to promote it in terms of like a love for it. Right.
Yeah.
Not to read just because you have to, or as an assignment or whatever.
Right.
To read, to get lost in it. So let me know. I don't have I will be running it through Instagram. I don't have an Instagram set up yet because I'm not, but you can hit me up at Lisa's Pieces. I'll put it in the chat because it's spelled a little bit differently.
Yeah, I just found you. I followed you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm always promoting friends' businesses, especially Black-owned businesses. So if there's anything that you ever need me to promote, just let me know. I throw it out there. I, love to support, love to help out. So looking forward to supporting you both. And when I get all set up with Usborne, I will definitely let you guys know.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Me?
Yeah,
well, I have a couple of things going on. I was cast in a television series, but then things got interrupted because of the vid. And but I got my role, but I'm looking forward to getting back into acting a little bit. I'm in talks to be a part of a Will Packer show. A lot of stuff I can't really talk about, but the fact that Oprah Winfrey and Will Packer are looking at my face just makes me a happy human being. And also I told you about that project. Look for it. But what I'm most excited about, what I'm like literally working on and I really want to see achieve success and I'm pouring myself into it, is this brand called High Living. And that stands for Hemp in Everything Living. And it's a Black-owned brand, started in Carolina, and they have all kind of products that are infused with hemp, CBD, THC. They own a hemp farm. They do real cool the capsule kind of collections or collaborations with certain people. They have everything from like hookah flavors to, as I said, body scrub, teas. And like, I'm literally a living testament to the products really helping me out. And I just really want to continue to get behind alleviating the stigma that utilizing CBD and hemp and stuff in your daily wellness routines is not like a means you're a pothead. It's not about just smoking weed for recreational kind of enjoyment. Like, and this company is like, the branding is so beautiful. The client, the content of the stuff is it's effective. You feel it, but it's just very classy, and it's a brand I'm really happy to be a part of. And again, as I said, it's owned by a Black woman, and she's so smart, she's so hip. She owns a few other businesses like a Bell Bonds company, all kind of stuff. But this is kind of like her, her love child kind of thing. And I'm really grateful to be a part of their beginning of their experience. But they even have honey. They have honey. It comes with like a little honeycomb, a real honeycomb, like on a cereal box. A honeycomb. It's infused. It comes from the mountains. Like, I just really love this company, and it would mean a lot to me because I'm not the kind, like, you can't go on my Instagram. I've been approached many a times, from your Fashion Novas to your Pretty Little Things to all that stuff. A little bit, I forayed into it a little bit, but that's not my thing. I don't push things that I don't really genuinely love, use, buy, support. I don't want my page to look like one big ad campaign for stuff, So this is one thing that I am pushing. So it is important to me that people that come onto my page when I'm, you doing the swipe up option and check it out, like actually purchase something, So now I never cared about it before. I would just do it and get my check or something. But this is a company I really want to see prosper and do well. And it's here to stay, So High Living. Yep. HIE Living.
That's what's up. I know I tried some, I don't want to call it ointment, but like, I have a friend who's really into like health and wellness, essential oils and things like that. And so she was telling me like, okay, if you're having these pains in your wrist and in your joints, like go and get you some CBD like oil rub stuff, and I got it and it worked, and I was like, okay, like it was my first time going to the dispensary and feel it like in the line, but I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, and so. And with
our products and stuff too, like it's not our products, not my products. They my products now, but they smell so good. Like the body scrub, it has like bits of cherries and stuff in it. Ooh, nice. Like, and the oil that they have, that's like a massage or whatever. It has like lavender in it. You see the real actual roses and petals, and it's fly. So
they deliver, like, or you can order it. It's shipped.
Yeah,
to
you order it. Okay. You order it online. You can order it from my website. I have the link in my Instagram, which you can find me on Instagram. That's my preferred social media of choice, and that's Sincerely W. SINCERELYW. And I'm on Twitter. I'm on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is fun, but I kind of got a little phased out of it a little bit, but I still like it. So, but any socials you want to find me on, Sincerely W. That's how you get me.
That's great.
Hey, I'm about to have to give me some of that CBD.
I'm telling you, they got gummies. They got gummies. Let me tell you, these gummies.
Are you use them before you go to sleep?
No, I use them throughout the day. I'm stressed the fuck. Okay. I got a 6-year-old daughter, so I'd be like, "Oh, really? No, these are my watermelon candies. Don't touch my candy.
You stay away.
It's not for you.
This for mommy."
Right,
mommy. Okay. Here's your Skittles.
You got mommy juice and mommy gummies.
Right.
Hey, Akilah, what you already said.
I just tell her you can't afford these gummies, okay? Right. Unless you want to buy it. She's like, oh, never mind.
Right.
Look, Akilah, you want to plug your book again? You know what I'm saying, or what?
Oh, well, Potty Training Day. It's going to be out June 1st. And on my social media, Akilah Trinae, and then my publishing company, Revision Publishing. But on social media, it's Revision Hub LLC.
Akilah, may I ask you, do you help publish other people's things, or this is a publishing company you established just for your daughter's books and what you're doing now?
I established it specifically initially, I should say, for a book that I published, and then I branched over to a children's book. But my goal is to really do more consulting and education around how to self-publish for other people, because I think everybody should publish their own book or books. And I know that you can go to the internet and find a lot of information, but it's not very clear on how to do it. So I want to educate people and inform them how to do it on their own so that they can make their own money. Like, I don't want to go and do the work for other people, but I want to educate and empower people to do the work on their own and give them the tools so that they can do it and make it easier.
Okay, well, you'll be hearing from me.
She got hurt. She got a whole nother business she about to start. Huh?
Yeah, you'll see.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. Look, we appreciate y'all up, and we definitely look forward to all the future endeavors, and feel free to come back through and tap in with us at any time, especially when you got something going on. Lisa, I appreciate you giving us the rundown on
thank you so much.
UK Lives. Sincerely, I appreciate you just tapping in with us. Giving us.
I'm welcome anytime to come and run my mouth whenever you like. Do not mind. Yeah. Pretty good at it, I think.
Yeah, and I don't mind being on with Sincerely anytime you have.
Right.
Thank you.
Sincerely is good with me.
Right?
Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you guys.
It was so nice to connect with you two ladies. I'm about to hit both of you up on Instagram. So
please do. So I can follow y'all.
All righty then.
I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for this experience.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
Dance
Are you recording this?
Yeah, it's recorded. I'll send you a link. I see your link. Yeah, we're gonna put some clips out because we was definitely, talking about some important things that we gotta put out there to the world. And this Dance Hustle on Dancehustle Radio on the Good News Radio Network, and we out.
All right.
Peace.
Low waist, fat ass bitch, tap in. Tap, tap, tap in.